This is the Abyss, a gigantic hole filled with promises of adventure, treasure, and fame, with just as much danger following it. It is the only unexplored place left in the world, luring many adventurers into its gaping maw, and only time will tell what lies at the bottom. Hi, my name is Evan, and today I'm going to be reviewing Made in Abyss, my favorite show of all time.
Just what I am, who I could be is the mystery to solve. I shall find the underground river soul. Let it shine and
Back in July of 2017, Made in Abyss aired for the first time on television, which ran for 13 episodes and then concluded in mid-September. Since then, it has been widely acclaimed by fans and critics alike, getting multiple awards, including Crunchyroll's Anime of the Year award, beating even the likes of My Hero Academia. I first found out about this show from a video by Super Eye Patch Wolf, which you should totally watch after this video, as it is much more impressive than my video, and goes a lot more in depth. But anyway, after watching it, I was immediately hooked. I then proceeded to binge the whole show in one night. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. Before we get into this, I would like to say that I'm not an anime person. I've watched maybe 3 animes all the way through. Despite this show managed to surpass all my expectations and more. But enough about that. Let's start talking about what makes Made in Abyss so special, and what makes it stand out from the rest. So first off, I'd like to say wow. Everything here looks absolutely gorgeous. Everything from the background to the foreground and everything between looks great. Everyone at Kinema Citrus really worked hard to make this look as great as possible, and I, for one, am really proud of them. Almost every scene they put together is like lightning in a bottle. They look that good. I love the character and monster designs, especially the guy who did the backgrounds. I don't know their name off the top of my head, but I do know they did background work for some of the Ghibli films like Spirited Away. I really don't know what else to say other than the animation is really good, so let's move on to the next topic. I could go on for hours and hours about this story, but for this video I'm going to keep things short and stick to the basics. I'm also only going to cover content from the first few episodes as to avoid spoilers. With that out of the way, let's begin. Our story starts with our 2 main characters, Reg and Rico. Reg is a humanoid robot thing with no memories of his past, and his only connection to it is through Rico. Rico is an orphan from the city surrounding the top of the abyss called Orth, and wants nothing more than to be a White Whistle, the highest rank a Delver can achieve, like her mother. It's important to note that after a certain point, nobody can return to Orth from the Abyss, due to something called the Curse of the Abyss, something that can only affect those who are ascending. Symptoms can start as light as nausea and headaches, but the further down you go, the higher the intensity of the curse gets, leading to things like hemorrhaging, loss of humanity, and even death. This is important because one day, Liza's whistle, belonging to Rico's mother, comes up with notes about the Abyss. This is interesting, as not only does one of the diagrams look suspiciously like Reg, but there's a letter attached to it as well, reading, "At the Netherworld's bottom, I'll be waiting." I'll be honest, the way I'm explaining things can't really do the show the justice it deserves, so if that interests you at all, please just go watch the show. But not yet, as there are a few points I would like to cover still at a later point that may turn you off. Before we discuss that, however, I would like to mention arguably the best part about this show. In case you haven't noticed, I've been playing music from this show all throughout this video, and let me just tell you, it is freaking phenomenal. Kevin Penkin is the mastermind behind all the songs this show has to offer. His music seems to perfectly captivate every moment of this show. He's most commonly known for his work on the games Florence and Necro Barista, as well as the animes The Rising of Shield Hero, Tower of God, and of course this one. But you knew that already, didn't you? I can say with 100% confidence that I listen to the soundtrack of this show way more than I'd like to admit. The songs even work fine without the context of the show, so even if you decide not to watch it, I would strongly recommend you at least listen to the OST. Maybe buy both the CDs too while you're at it. Unfortunately, there are problems with the show that I still need to address before you go off, because they may be a deal breaker for you. The only actual con about this show is that it slows down a bit in the middle. Oh, and that it's too short. My real problem with the show is the nudity, and if you've been watching the video, you will understand why. This is really the main reason why I don't recommend the show to everyone I meet. Thankfully, there are only around, 4 scenes in this whole show, and nothing is actually shown. The one I'm most uncomfortable with, though, is the second episode, but fortunately, it's only around 2 seconds long at most. The rest are fine and make sense either for the story or its comedic elements. Also, another point I'd like to bring up here is, while not very gory, it can also be pretty gruesome at times. However, if you can get past those points I made, I think you will find something truly special here. If you have already watched the show, you would already know that it isn't over quite yet. In fact, there's a sequel film called Dawn of the Deep Soul that came out this year, or if you live anywhere that isn't Japan, it will come out at some point. And I think that in it, somebody's probably gonna die horribly. I was supposed to go see it with a friend back in April, but you all know how that went. I'm hoping for a release sometime before September, but I doubt that will happen, and let me be honest, I've been trying really hard not to find cam footage of it online. Beyond that, I know we are getting a sequel of some kind, whether it be another movie or second season, I don't know. What I do know, though, is that I want this show to have a proper conclusion, because if it doesn't, I'll have to read the manga, and I don't want to read the manga, because that is less censored than the anime. Made in Abyss is a fantastic show that I think anyone can enjoy if they just watch it. It's amazing what this show has done, and it's no wonder why it's considered a modern classic. Everything from the art to the animation to the music to the story just meshes so well together. Hopefully this will convince you to watch it on your own if you haven't already, and if not, at least it explains why Made in Abyss is by far my favorite show of all time. Again, my name is Evan, and thank you for watching my review of Made in Abyss.